The world definitely brings strenuous situations to us all. Myself, friends, and I know many others. We talk about why we're here, and some people get depressed of, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. But it's pretty funny to realize how people have these dreams, and yet all they want to do is spend their time with other people. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to make this. I want to start the business. I want to do anything. I want to become a millionaire. But the reality is, it's like, what are you doing? Like, what, as an individual, what are you doing? How are you bettering yourself? I truly believe, definitely in the saying, Arnold Schwarzenegger, ignore the naysayers, or you can't climb the ladders to success with your hands in the pocket. It's real stuff, and it's valuable statements and quotes, and if you just took the time to take advantage of the internet that we have, it's instead of watching some stupid videos and bettering someone else's life, why don't you try to create something? Try to do something that you love, you're passionate about. I love teaching. I love helping people. As an engineer, I love helping people any way I can. I try to be optimistic, and I've always been that way around my friends. And it's like, I know how it feels to hit rock bottom. We all have our different stories or different moments in life where we have a decision and we've taken the wrong turn. We went down. And for me personally, it took myself to look myself in the mirror, and eyes start turning bloodshot, and you start realizing, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Why am I just talking about it, not doing something about it? So now I'm here, and I'm trying to basically aid those who really need help. We all need help. We're all on this planet. We all breathe the same air. Our origin is the sea, and this is where we come from. We are all family, regardless of race, height, size. So I just want you to know that, if you're going through a rough time, just look deep down and really look in the mirror. And I know it's so hard. To just go, what am I going to do that I truly can go to sleep and think about and do that puts a smile to my face? It's hard. You have some people who can do it. That's great. That's awesome. I'm glad that they went over that hump and they're doing something. They took the risk and they're doing something they love. So I believe in that, and I believe that we have our own past. We define our past. What we do now is what's going to lead us 5, 10, 1 year, 2 years, anywhere down the road. Be around those who are going to benefit you. You might think you have great friends, but in reality, you don't know what they're thinking about. You don't need to care what they think about. If you have an idea and they're like, that sounds lame. No. What's lame to you is what may not be lame to me. Look what you're doing. What are you doing? How are you bettering me right now? If I have a dream, the world wants to go against you. It's time that you just realize that we only live once, and I don't know about you, but I'm 27 years old, and just the blink of an eye, time has just flown by. And now, I'm working with a good friend of mine, and we're working on some business ideas, but to just take that step and really just take action, research. We have the internet gives us all the information in the world. You don't have to get information from an ad. Research it. Go into a book. If you don't like using the internet, well, go to the library. Do something. Get outside and just see something, We have the power to do anything we can. Be like a lion. They're not the king of the jungle for no reason. It's like, you know, you see a lion go running through the jungle and see a lion. No, they don't think it's just a large mammal. No, they're like, I'm gonna eat that thing. And what does the elephant do? When it's 5-1, 5 elephants to 1 lion. No, they still run. It's like you have to just, the hardest thing to do, I believe, and especially for me, was to just take that first step. You know, you work that 9 to 5, 8 to 4:30, 7 to 3, 7 to 4, whatever job, and then you go work out. You spend 20, 30 minutes driving, an hour in total, going to the gym, then you spend an hour and a half there, maybe 2, depends on what you're doing. And then you get back, and then you want to play video games for 4 hours. And then what you go grab for food is a frozen burrito. Take care of yourself, you know. If it just means taking a little extra time, maybe on a Sunday, you know, plan. Everybody's different with their own plans. So, like, I believe first step in really getting yourself into a rhythm of being self-disciplined is take care of your health. It changes your life. You know, you get home from work, make a salad with some chicken. You know, if you're not a big fan of chicken, well, you don't have to use chicken. You know, make yourself some homemade croutons. But anyways, you get in this process of like, you're on your own schedule. So you start scheduling your day out, and it makes things a lot easier. First, it's hard because your brain doesn't like getting out of the comfort zone. We all know that. I know that. It sucks. It sucks to get out of the comfort zone. You know, but think about it when you were a kid. Whether it was learning to swim, hit a baseball off a tee, or throwing a football, or riding a bike, or riding a dirt bike, anything. When you're a kid, you didn't have that fear. You were like, I want to do it. I can do it. You start seeing other people, I want to do it. Now, in a sense, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a follower. No, you're taking the risk. You're getting out of your comfort zone, and you're trying something new. So why is that when we get older, we don't want to do that? We have this fear of like, oh, what if I fail? Like, what do you mean fail? You want to fail. That's how you learn from your mistakes. If you don't learn from your mistakes, yes, you will never grow. We as humans adapt. If you're at a job and you send off to your boss some work and they tear it up, you know, Freddy Krueger and you're like, man, I'm just doing everything wrong. But you know what? That's fine. You understand it. When you go through those mistakes, you understand. You know, it's things like that where it's like businesses. Not to say I'm a businessman yet, but I'm getting there. But, you know, a favorite statement of mine from Elon Musk, it really hit hard, was, you know, the companies who really strive, or both companies make mistakes, whether you're a company that strives or a company that fails. The only difference, he said, was that the company who strives is the company who fixes those mistakes, thinks critically about those mistakes and why they're wrong, and adapts them to their company. While the other company denies, they're like stubborn. And that's, you know what, I used to be really stubborn. You know, I had this attitude of like, I was still optimistic and happy, but I always was like, I wanted to be right all the time. But you know what I've really learned was that it's good to be wrong. Okay? You know, I don't know about any of you who watch Karate Kid, but I know it's just a movie, but I'm just saying it's the hard work and dedication. Look where it brought them. You know, listening to your elders and listening to younger folks, because believe it or not, your friends really put a big impact on you, you know? So I'm going to make more videos, of course, and I'm just giving a little introduction about pretty much what I'm doing. I'm here for, like, you know, motivation, you know, because I'm like you and you're like me. We're all alike. And I'm here to really just it's not even just about motivation. It's really about being organized, structured, and disciplined. And be courageous, you know? If you feel like you have an idea and you research that online and you're like, man, I don't think this is right, okay? But then you get in the concept of like, okay, I do have something similar, but I don't want to just make it slightly better. I want to make it better, because that's what the world is. You don't want to just make it slightly better, because then you put yourself in that little area where those points of like, okay, well, if I make it slightly better, I'm risking a lot more, because now this other company might have something slightly better than mine, and then you're going back. No, you want to make your idea, you know, you research, you know, get a group of good people. That's what basically a company is. just a group of people like you and me who bring together a plethora of ideas. And if you all get to this, agreement of this is what we want to do and this is what we're going to do, even if it's just two people, go for it. What do you have to lose? Nothing. You don't have to do something that involves a lot of money. You don't have to go pull a loan out to go get a condo. You don't have to do all that. The world is adapting and it's turning to technology and crypto and all this crazy stuff. There's always a door open. So I wish you all the best, and I really hope that, this may not be the screaming video where I'm screaming at you and I'm saying, do it, No, I'm laid back and I'm just here to give aid to those, people who are striving and people who aren't. And I wish you all the best to really think optimistic and, be hard on yourself, but not too hard on yourself. It's a hard thing to adapt to. It is, I'm usually hard on myself, so. But I just want you to know, we only live once, be happy, be content with your life, and always aim to strive. Because if you're not striving in any way, then it's like, what are you here for? Then your days get boring, And of course, you want to be able to do something. If it means changing the world or changing a community or changing a city, anything, go for it, Just look deep down and really just realize, I want to do this. I see it in my head. I think about it when I go to sleep. It's acting, being a doctor, having your own business. Just go for it. Of course it's going to include hard work. I don't care if you have a genius in your class who doesn't have to study, or if he is studying. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about them. Now, I would recommend maybe studying with him, because, I just would suggest that, but you'll learn a lot, in different views, because he might understand certain things that you may not understand. Some people are visual. Some people could just see a paragraph and be able to solve something. I'm a visual person. So at work, when I first started, it was like, okay, I struggled. I was just told a bunch of stuff and I was like, what am I doing? The hell? But just in general, we're only here once, so shoot for the stars. You really have nothing to lose. And trust me, I'm there for you. I'm right there with you. We can do it. Just gotta believe. Love y'all.